And welcome everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in for our post-match reaction show. Liverpool have lost the game. But yeah, no, it's pre-season, everyone. I'm joined by Luke from the 1892 Reds podcast. Most important, mate. Hope you had a good day. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me.
No, thanks for letting me come on, mate. It's a bit of a strange one, isn't it? Obviously, we're recording the video, and obviously, it's been a good day. Well, had a busy day at work, but then coming back, obviously, it's not nice. Obviously, seeing Liverpool lose, but it's pre-season. I mean, obviously, it's another opportunity for players to get some match sharpness and fitness. Obviously, I do see the more important game, obviously, on Saturday, so maybe a little bit of a less risk of players not wanting to get injured, for example. But yeah, I mean, we move forward to the start of the season, closer to the start of the season, which is what we're all looking forward to.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And obviously, as you can see here, chat, obviously, the starting 11 for Liverpool, as you can see on the graph anyway on the screen. Two players I'm going to pick out, Luke, and I want to know your thoughts, and most importantly, everyone watching at home, your thoughts and how these two lads, as I said on my live stream today, I've not seen a lot of the under-23s, under-21s football, but I know a lot of you watching or listening have probably seen more of them. So let me know your thoughts, everyone, in the comment section below. But the young lad, number 52 for Liverpool today, playing right back, Mabaya, he was absolutely fantastic in the first 45-minute period. It was a constant threat down the right-hand side, probably one of Liverpool's brightest sparks in that first half, really. And obviously, Bajcetic, I completely butchered that, so apologies. But the young Spanish lad, number 43 for Liverpool today, very composed on the ball, taking the ball in tight areas, especially against an opposition as Salzburg were today. He didn't look out of his depth. But firstly, on Mabaya, Luke, in terms of obviously the game today or the glimpses that you've seen, and obviously in terms of his performance over pre-season, how have you felt in terms of his developments? Is he one to keep an eye on?
I mean, definitely. I think like there's some players, and all round. I mean, obviously, I don't watch the under-23s and under-18s every game, of course. And I think if people said that, they would, to be honest, I think they'd be joking around with it. But I think with the players that come in today, obviously, when we see the team selection, obviously when he was in there, and there's obviously been some players that have come in and done well in pre-season, and you can see Klopp's reasoning. I mean, even though it's pre-season and he likes to give a lot of youngsters an opportunity, it's the reason why he puts them in there is purely simply because he believes in these players, and they obviously know that they can move forward within this team. Obviously, going forward, like with that you might see them potentially in FA Cup runs or League Cup runs, but I think right back today was quite solid. Defensively, obviously, like we always get touted out. The right side of our defense is obviously the weak point. Obviously, everyone obviously says about Trent can't defend, blah blah blah, which is a load of nonsense. But yeah, I think for a first real start for Liverpool, in the first team as well, it's a different environment as well. Even when you're playing for the under-23s or the under-18s, like there's not that much pressure. Even if in a pre-season game you're playing for Liverpool, like you've put that red shirt on, it's a lot of pressure on you, and I think you dealt with it quite well. And yeah, I mean, I'd be very surprised if we don't see him again. Maybe, as I said, like in the League Cup game or an FA Cup game this season coming up. But it just shows that the depth and the what we've got moving forward over the next few years to come. We've got some very good young, like growing players, and we can definitely move forward with some sort of youth in our team coming forward.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And obviously, Calvin Ramsey, I think we've seen Mabaya get more of an opportunity due to him obviously being injured or having visa issues. I'm not too sure 100% on that, chat, so apologies. But yeah, absolutely hit the nail on the head there, Luke, in terms of the development. Jurgen Klopp creates such a good environment, doesn't he, mate? And chat, in terms of players, you will get the opportunities, but he's really took that opportunity took the ball by the horns, really, in terms of pre-season. You can only play what's in front of him, and he did today, as Luke said, alluded to, in terms of his good performance. Bajcetic, another one, Luke, in terms of potentially we could see there's quite a lot of talk in terms of obviously Tyler Morton potentially going out on loan or getting a move this summer. But if that is the case, or if it isn't, this young Spanish lad, as I've said, as you said, we've probably not seen a lot of football, but judging from certain sections of the fan base that have seen a lot more of the youngsters, this lad has got a lot of a lot of a bright future ahead of him, especially obviously the game against Leipzig as well. He really impressed me.
Yeah, I was just going to say that as well. I mean, it's something about the Red Bull teams that he likes playing against. Obviously, Leipzig and Salzburg. Yeah, I think, and as you said, Jack, I think I fully agree. He was very comfortable on the ball. As I mentioned before, some players obviously play a lot of, like reserve team football, under 23 football. Like they come into the first team, and there's always you can always see that there's a bit of nervousness around, which is understandable. I think with Tyler Morton potentially going out on loan to Blackburn, I think it gives him a good opportunity to develop a lot more with the first team, especially with with the subs rule next season as well. With the 5 subs being allowed and potentially more players being allowed to be on the bench, it might give him another option as well to have a type player that can obviously be around the squad and working alongside Fabinho. Is going to be such a dream for him. Fabinho is obviously the main man in that position, but he can definitely learn a lot over the next season, in the next couple of years. And again, as I mentioned before, it's just something that we've got now at this group of players and
So much youth.
The youth. And yeah, exactly. And it's what Jurgen Klopp's done with this team. It's just like I think that what I'm so proud of with this like sort of group of the team and obviously like the club itself is, as Liverpool fans in the past, like when we've had other managers, like we've always mainly focused, I would say, just on the first team squad. We're now looking sort of more out the box, and we've got this player coming through the youth system. We've got maybe in 2-3 years' time, we're going to have all these loads of different options that we've got coming forward. And it's just amazing to actually understand how good these players are at this young age as well. And they're getting this opportunity in the pre-season tours and within the first team. And when they're playing with the pre-season tours, and as we've seen, they're not obviously just playing with their colleagues, you would say, like obviously like when they're playing with the first team players, and Klopp showing that support for them, but also it helps gain them in their development as well. I mean, it's amazing to see. But I mean, he had a very good game as well, and you may see him a lot more this year as well, considering if Morton does go out on loan, you may see him a bit more.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And chat, let us know what your thoughts on what Luke's had to say there. 100%. Luke, you said Jurgen Klopp's created that right environment, and as you said, the young players coming in, playing alongside the first team players, or even fringe players to that extent as well. It's been absolutely fantastic. But in terms, obviously, off the back of this result, mate, in terms of pre-season, how you felt the Reds have done? Obviously, speaking to you off camera and obviously build up to these games all season. Me and you, can't wait. We can't wait for the like all of us at home as well listening. We just want the Reds to be underway and playing competitive football. But how have you felt? Diaz, Nunes, and a couple of the players really have really stood out. And how have you felt? Have you think we don't look into the results too much, do we? It's pre-season, as you said, the top of the show. But how have you felt we've progressed this season in terms of the introduction of certain players and going into the big game in 3 days' time against Manchester City?
Yeah, I was a bit worried, to be fair, when we lost to Man United 4-0, I'll be honest. I know it's pre-season, and I know obviously it's the result was obviously not the most important thing in the world, but to see that result, it was like, oh, it's Man United, like we lost. But do you know what? Like what I've noticed with this pre-season, which I've been very impressed about, is all right. We've never been the best in pre-season. Sometimes we lose a lot of games. Like we lost most of our games when we won the league.
Yeah, I was going to say, mate.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, that's the thing. It's like we look at pre-season and think, obviously you want to win, you don't want to lose, but the most important thing is that team cohesion, the match fitness, the sharpness, the readiness to go for the new season. And I think a lot of it goes down to, Jurgen Klopp's management style. Obviously we just missed out on the Premier League last season, but that's gone now. Like he's that sort of manager now. It's like we're not going to let that affect us now. We're going to move forward. We've got a new system in place. We're obviously going to go again and obviously work harder for this season coming up. What I've also been impressed with is with the signings that we've made. Obviously Nunes and Carvalho, they've settled in really nicely as well. But there looks a difference about Liverpool this year, I think. Like the 4-3-3 is obviously the more dominant formation that we're obviously going to play. But what I've really enjoyed seeing in pre-season is there's a lot of changes that we can make during games now. A lot of people, including myself, have, and I would say, criticised Jurgen Klopp in senses where Plan A could be 9 times out of 10 the best thing in the world. When plan A doesn't work, that 1 time out of 10, that's when you need your plan B, your plan C, etc.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're seeing now. I think there is times in games where I've watched over pre-season where plan A doesn't work, and we've got the 4-2-3-1 formation we can use. We've got other different players like Carvalho can play from the left. He can play
Just
in the
opens
middle.
up so much. Don't know what Carvalho was going to say, mate. You can play in the 10, you can change formation, but you're absolutely spot on.
And like Firmino can obviously, we know he drops deep, but he can play further up the line. Nunez can play through the middle. Obviously, he can play from the left as well, where he cuts inside. There's loads of different dimensions we've got now. I think in this pre-season has really shown that Liverpool are ready for this new season. I mean, forget the results today. Obviously, it's disappointing to lose, but the season for me starts Saturday. Like, we need a good performance against Manchester City. Again, if we lose, it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, the Community Shield is not the most important trophy in the world. I don't see at the end of the season and think, right, I want to win the Community Shield. Of course you do, but at the end of the day, as long as the performance is there, as long as we've got the desire and the commitment going into that Fulham game next week, then I'm more than certain that we can challenge for big trophies next season.
100%, mate. Exciting times, Reds as well. So yeah, I think we've more or less glossed over, as I said, top of the show, everyone. Obviously Mabaya, sorry, I'm calling them a holiday destination. You know,
Have IB front next week.
Yeah, IB for playing up front for Liverpool against City. But yeah, Mabaya, really, there we go. Probably one of the standouts in that phase 45. Canate, Gomez, typical. As I was saying on my live stream, watch along, Luke. These two, and me and you've done shows in the past as well. These two are the future. Post when we see Van Dijk hopefully retire at Liverpool, but long-term future, we're in such tremendous hands with those two. I think they dealt so well. I know it's pre-season and that, but just when you watch them sometimes, and I don't think me or you or even chat, let me know in the comments, you'd have any qualms if that was our first choice centre-half pairing for this season? If we do need to vest Van Dijk in certain games,
no, I'm more than happy for any of that. I mean, that's the thing we had on our channel last week. We had Steve come on, and he was mentioning a similar sort of thing about if Joe Gomez comes in, or if Konate comes in, or even if Matip comes in, they all play the same. We all know the system that we all want to play. There's that cohesion between the four. Obviously, that if Van Dijk has to play when he's fit, but if there is for some reason he doesn't play, Gomez knows. I mean, I've been very impressed with Joe Gomez in pre-season. He definitely, hopefully, will look the sort of defender that we had when we won the league with him. I mean, for me, that's the competition that Joe Gomez needs to see. I agree with you. I think him and Konate are definitely the future of this football club, but him signing the new contract, it's now a statement to put him down, like a marker for him to say, right, I'm ready to
go
win my place back in the first team. Obviously work harder than ever. We obviously know the injuries are a bit of a problem with him. Hopefully that can change. But no, I've been super impressed with Joe Gomez, and if Joe Gomez was ever brought back into the side, I'd have no problem with it whatsoever. We see his versatility last year, obviously at right back as well. Probably won't have to do that as much now with the additions of Ramsey and some other players that can obviously fill in that position. But no, I think defensively, I think we're fine. I think everywhere around the pitch, to be honest, Jack. I think the only I just think the only position potentially that I'd be slightly worried, and it sounds a bit bizarre, I think it's probably out on the right. I think, and the only reason why is because when Salah's not in the team, there's not really that much of a balance.
That's and I know chat was saying on live stream as well. You'd probably say right wing there and potentially goalkeeper in terms of quality.
I mean, I've been impressed with Davis.
Yeah, Davis, the young lad as well. I know Kelly. Yeah, Kelly has probably stepped up massively last year as well. But yeah, I'd fully agree with you there, mate.
I just feel that there's. I mean, Salah's obviously Mo Salah, but it's easy saying that we can never replace him because obviously you can't. But there's not. You see with the left hand side, for example, like Diaz is the main man, but then Jota can play there and do a job. Carvalho can now play there. I mean, the right hand side, Harvey Elliott is now, for me, a central mid, an attacking midfield player. He can play out on the right, but not as effective. I think that's the only area I think that Liverpool, if we talk about weaknesses, I know it's so bad to say about, but for me, that's probably only very minimal weakness that we haven't got that little bit of a balance. But I'm looking forward to the new season, mate. I mean, bring it on. Liverpool again for the Premier League, and I still got a firm belief that we
Going
can
for
win
the
it this
quad.
season.
Going for the quad, aren't we again, and chat. But
If we can
Luke,
if we can go for the quad, but then be fit for the last 5 games and not be tired, then happy days.
it's all part of the master plan. Peplin's book's coming out very soon, so buy that, everyone. Not like I'm being sponsored, imagine. But Luke, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you very much for coming on. Appreciate you taking the time out. Shout out your channel, mate, and where everyone can subscribe, and obviously the shows you got coming up this week, and obviously going into next season.
Yeah, no, cheers, Jack. Thanks for letting me come on. 1892 Reds podcast on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram we're on. We have got our Man City preview on Thursday night. We have got a Manchester City fan coming on. We've actually found a Man City fan. We've actually got a Man City fan coming on. That was a joke, guys. But yeah, we've got a preview for Man City tomorrow Thursday at 7 p.m. And then we've got some other videos. We've got our review. We've got our Premier League predictions. Premier League table predictions show just before the start of the new season, and of course we'll have our Fulham preview as well. And then guys, obviously if you're interested as well, Jack's obviously a big supporter of it. The first edition of the 1892 football show on the 6th of August, where we'll be covering all the 3 p.m. kickoffs. So come and join us, guys. Obviously subscribe to the 1892 Reds podcast on YouTube, but of course smash the like button, guys, on Jack Mac TV and get him to 5,000 subs. 5,000 subs, guys.
Getting there slowly.
Honestly, no. So, Jack, thank you, mate, and hopefully many more to come between our channel and your channel.
Yeah, you're very welcome, mate. Always welcome. But chat as well, most importantly, thank you for all tuning in tonight. Really appreciate supporting Luke's channels as well, and every single one of us. We're all one footballing community, even the non-Liverpool channels. We all look after one another. We all have a good banter as well. That's what it's all about anyway, most importantly. And we grow better together as well. But Reds and Ravens fans, if you are listening, have a lovely rest of your night. Let me know, most importantly, let me and Luke and chat as well. Get your comments in the comment section below. As Luke said, the City game is on the horizon 3 days from now anyway. But let me know your thoughts on today's game. And what impressed you, what didn't impress you today as well, most importantly, and mainly your starting 11 for Manchester City for the game on Saturday, as Luke was saying, against City. Who do you think will go strong? As I said on this show, I think this team that finished the second half will more or less probably be about 80, 70% the team that will be playing. But Reds, have a lovely rest of your night. Luke, thank you for coming on, mate. Most importantly, everyone, look after yourself and have a lovely rest of your night, and you'll never walk alone. Ta-ra.